What's up, everybody? Hopefully everyone's having a good evening. Tonight I'm going to tie up, I felt like doing kind of a more traditional Western style wet fly. I'm going to be doing that on a Firehole 633, size 14. I'm going to be using black thread. I'm going to start a little bit behind the eye, about right there. So I'll go ahead and bring this all the way back down the hook shank. All the way to there. Now this is also a pretty simple pattern. It only uses a few different materials. Next we're going to be tying in some of this silver ultra wire. Grab some of this. And that should be good. We're going to tie that right in at the end. Right about there. There we go. And then we're going to take the thread all the way back up. Right about there. Then I'm going to go back. So I like to build up a little bit of a body. If you're using thicker thread, you don't have to go back and forth like I am, but you want to have a little bit of a body. And I'm using 6/0 thread, so this is looking good now. So a couple passes. I'm going to stop right there. All right, get my thread out of the way. I'm going to make some nice even wraps all the way up the body. And the key they don't have to be super close together, but the key is just making them nice and even. Like that. Alright, I'll go ahead and tie that in, or tie that off rather. Good. And then just under the thread tension there, you should be able to just kind of windmill it and it comes right off. All right, so we got our body and our ribbing. Next, we're going to tie in the peacock hurl. And that'll be our thorax. Grab one out of the bag there. All right, so we got our peacock hurl, and with these, the bottom portion tends to be stiffer and thicker, where they get, thinner up here. But I like to tie it in. I'm going to snip off the first little section and tie in about in the middle. Here, I'm going to snip off about that much. Okay. So we're going to go back just a little bit to give us some room. in about right there. I'm going to tie it in this way. You don't need a big thorax. It's just going to be a few wraps. Go ahead and get rid of my excess. There you go. Okay. So that's about good, because that's about as thick as your thorax is going to be from where you tied this in to about where the thread is there. Your thorax is only going to be about like that. So we can go ahead and make some wraps. And just kind of focus on making them nice and even. Right like that. Oops. I'm going to go back over just a few times just to build up that thorax a little bit more. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll bring it back to the front and tie it off. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. And you should be able to just pluck it off. All right, so there's our thorax. So I'm gonna kind of make sure, like pull this back. And just do a few wraps to give us a little bit of space like that. Okay. So next we're gonna tie in our hackle. I'm using this Whitting's Brahma hen, molted gray, brown, speckled. Looks like this. And just like anything else, we're going to take away all this puffy stuff. So you're left with just this. And then what I'm going to do is prepare it just like I do any other feather. Like that. Difference is, for a kabari, I'd be tying in like this. For this fly, I'm going to be tying in at the tip because I want that hackle to kind of face backwards. So I'm going to tie this tip in right like that. About 5 wraps, and that should be sufficient. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my excess here, being really careful not to cut the rest of my hackle. Just like that. All right. And you really don't need a lot of wraps. You only need generally about 1 or 2 wraps. So you already have a kind of a built-in handle for this one. So I'm going to go around once, and we'll go around twice. There we go. All right. And we'll tie it off from there. So it's going to look like a mess. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Tie it off once, twice, 3 times. And actually under the tension we should be able to just kind of pull that off. All right. So now it kind of looks like this. I know it kind of looks like a mess, but what we're going to do is we're going to pull our hackle back. Just like that. And we're going to start wrapping, building up a little bit of a head. And what that's going to do is it's going to push that hackle back just like that. And that's exactly what we want to see. And that looks good. All right. So now we're just going to build up a head, just like that. And then we're going to whip finish. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. Okay. So then what I like to do is for this one, instead of the water-based stuff that I use, I like to use the hardhead cement that's clear. And I'm going to brush the majority off of here. But I'm just going to put a little dab, kind of paint that on, right like that, right like that. So that will have kind of a nice shiny head. All right. And that's it. That is the classic, kind of a Western style wet fly. I'm just gonna do this and clean out the little eye. I think I got a little bit of head cement in there. And there we go. And that'll just dry. And that's it. All right. Hope you guys liked it. Thank you.